Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James,
And I'm Ryan.
and let's roll that intro. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Apostate Weekly, where we bring you your weekly injection and doses of the news, just like that hit of dopamine you've been waiting for all week.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, we all need a hit sometimes.
And she's the dope and I'm the mean. So,
Too true. Too true.
so how you doing this week, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. I've been off of social media a little bit, so I had to go out there searching for some news to share, which is a change. Usually it's being thrown at our face. But other than that, I'm doing all right.
Well, that's good.
I
That's
miss
good.
everybody. I miss everybody though.
Well, I'm sure everybody missed you too. So now we're
Oh.
now we're giving it back. So now they can see you and you can.
And now they're sick of me already.
Yeah.
Go back.
They're like, is it 8:30 yet? No.
I'm gonna spit my coffee.
So one of the things I wanted to get to, hey Gene, real quick is I had a story last week, and I forgot to send the link, so I'll have to add the link later for it. But it was concerning the Attorney General's office in PA, and it had
Mm.
just happened the day before, and I totally forgot to put it in last week's show, where one of the guys that was arrested pled guilty and in Pennsylvania. This
Oh,
guy who did is Jesse Hill. He's 52
okay.
out of Berks County, and he pled guilty on 2 counts of rape and felonies of the first degree. So I just
Wow.
wanted to share that because we have our first person out of this Pennsylvania case going on, and they actually pled guilty and are owning up to that at least. Now,
We love
what
to
they did
see
was
it.
still crap, but I'm so glad that they at least owned up to that.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's at least what should be expected from a human being who has feelings, emotions, an actual heart, a conscience. You should at least realize that the best thing to do is to admit what you've done, get some help. That's the only way you're going to be any kind of part of society again.
I mean, especially when you have crimes like that, those are sicknesses, those are diseases, and
Yeah,
those
something's
people are going to deal with them for the rest of their lives. But like you said, admitting it, getting help, that is a first step to recovery, and hopefully that person can
I mean, I
in
don't know
some
if
way
it's
make some amends.
recovery is the word, but yeah, you need to be actively taking control of what you're doing, and that's probably going to be through consistent help because these we
Yeah.
know these people don't stay in jail long. This is what I'm saying. You're not going to get
Right.
rehabilitated in jail.
Oh
That's
gosh,
just not
no.
going to happen, right?
No.
So you've got to do the right thing here and start taking some kind of accountability for your actions.
And
That's my opinion.
and hopefully he finds a therapist that is worth something and can help him, you know, in this struggle.
Right. The victims and survivors need justice.
Yes.
That's what's needed. And I
Yes,
mean, I'd love to see
absolutely.
these people go behind jails forever, but
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is when you get like, especially the people that do it to children, they get their behinds torn up in prison, quite literally. And
let's
because
hope.
even other criminals don't like those types of criminals. So
Right. Yeah. Even some criminals have morals,
yeah, I don't know. It's funny as it is, they do.
right?
So
there's a criminal code for some people, I suppose, and things that they just won't do, and that's hurting kids is one of them. Probably
And
because they were hurt as kids.
you're absolutely right, Jonathan. Prison is a deterrent, not a treatment. But at the
Exactly.
very least, for a time, it keeps them off the streets and not doing those crimes. So,
Yeah, at least there's some kind of, you can feel maybe a little bit of safer knowing that that person is locked away versus out on the streets. So it
well, then on top of that,
until they're out, because again, they don't stay in long.
yeah, but on top of that, if especially if they're a pedophile or anything, they gotta register, and so now they're going to be online. So anybody who is moving into a neighborhood and they want to look up what kind of pedophiles or whatever in their neighborhood will see that guy on their list now and be like, oh, maybe I don't want to live there because of this guy. So these are very helpful tools. I'm not saying it eliminates a problem, but it's still very
Right.
helpful.
Yeah. We have to use the tools that we have available. Unfortunately, it's not that great, but
It's not like the old days in the Bible where you could take them outside the city gates and stone them to death.
oh my God. And again, that's just another like whole discussion that we could have, like about like putting people to death. How safe is that really to do? Oh God, it's just such a
Yeah,
it's such
that's a whole nother
a
story.
conversation. It's just such a conversation, and it's stuff that I'd love. I mean, I would love to have these discussions with people at some time, if
That
round
would be like,
tables, things like that.
I was gonna say that would also be like a good topic for a show like that, roundtable or whatever. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, if
If any of
we
you are ever interested, just put it in the comments that you'd love to join a round table sometime, and we'll try to get one together.
or join us on Discord and message us there, and we'll set it up.
Yeah, join the Discord, weirdos.
Yeah. Duh.
Duh.
All right. So I'm gonna move on to second story real quick. Because I had just wanted to get that out of the way from last week. So, and this is actually directly from the JW.org website. Once in a while, they have a story that's, I think, worth looking at and reporting on. And this week they do actually. And let me go ahead and share the screen with everybody here. So this guy, Dmitry Trebilov, I'm sure I'm butchering his name. He was sentenced to more time in prison because he was trying to discuss the Bible with fellow prisoners. So, I mean, we laugh, but the organization is famous.
I apologize for laughing. Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean,
They put people in
I
these
get it. They put
positions.
people in
They
these
do this to
positions.
people on purpose, and it really actually bothers me.
Yeah, and this is the organization putting in his head that he has to preach no matter what situation he's in, especially in a country like that. You've already been put in prison because of your beliefs. Now you're
Yeah.
trying to spread your beliefs more in that prison. What do you think is going to happen under a totalitarian rule like they have going on over there?
Right.
They're adding 8 more years to his 3-year sentence that he's already
And
undergoing.
guess what? Guess what? He's going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
The dude's never going to leave prison.
Yeah.
Like, the guy is going to spend life in prison. And he'll say it's a blessing. He'll say it's a blessing because he's got to bring all these people to Jehovah.
Yeah. And it's going to just be persecution porn for the organization to keep on displaying in all their propaganda videos and keeping the rule of thumb over the witnesses. And it's just like a never ending propaganda mill for them with this guy doing this.
You're right. It really is. They love that victim card. They love to claim persecution. It is a kink. And I don't say that like in a sexual way. They
Oh no. Because
want
they
to be persecuted. They think that's what's supposed to happen to them. So they're going to see every obstacle, every stumbling block is persecution. That's
well, I
how
mean,
their brain is
they're
wired.
already told that being persecuted is one of the ways to show that we're God's one and only true religion. Of course, you know,
Right.
where, and this is just one of those rare examples of it happening. Okay. Find an example in this country, in the USA. Find an example in Europe. I, I haven't seen any. I haven't even heard any from like South America or, any other country. This is a rare example. This is not a common thing that's happening to the witnesses, but yet they're going to
Hmm.
use it like it is a
Right.
common thing that's happening everywhere.
They're going to focus on that.
Yes,
They're going to bring it
because
up. They're going to bring it up in talks all the time.
yes, and because of that, it's going to keep people thinking that they are a very persecuted religion.
Right. Exactly, Jonathan. Give a witness no matter what. It's something that they always like to preach. But in court, Jeffrey Jackson doesn't want to be presumptuous under oath. Right.
Yes.
Whether or not that they are God's one true religion. God has chosen them with his Holy Spirit. All of a sudden the tables have turned.
Yep, exactly. So what have you got for us, Ryan?
Okay, let me bring up the old screen-a-rooney here. So I think it was last week or maybe the week before, we were talking about what was happening in, I believe this is Idaho. Yeah, Idaho. So a federal judge blocks the interpretation of the Idaho law that prohibits out-of-state abortion referrals. So what had happened is as Roe v. Wade is getting overturned and each state is starting to ramp up their um, control of women's or people's bodies, really everybody's bodies, but specifically people who can get pregnant. They decided that with their abortion, I think it's a total abortion ban that they have. I apologize, you guys. I'd have to look back. I should have taken a look at this better, but I believe they have like a total abortion ban. Like some, there's a few weeks that you have, whatnot. Some don't have any bans, like currently PA. But first they did the abortion ban, and then they said, like, doctors can't even recommend you go out of state to get an abortion into a safe state like Pennsylvania. So they tried to stop doctors from saving their patients' lives because a lot of these people are going to die because there's fetal anomalies. Like, not every single pregnancy is a happy, good one with good outcomes. And we've seen tons of examples. I saw one recently of a woman who had to give birth to a baby with, I think, anencephaly, something of that nature, something where something was going on with their brain and their head.
Encephalitis?
Yeah, and they also like couldn't breathe, so she had to give birth.
Mm-hmm.
They made her keep the pregnancy, and then after she gave birth, she had to like hold her baby as it died, and it took like 2
Oh,
hours for it to die. Um, it was
that's just
yeah,
terrible.
right, like that. I can't imagine, somebody saying that they wouldn't want you to follow doctor's orders. They don't care that the doctor says that this is terminal or whatever they call it. Like, this is going to naturally abort or it's going to cause problems for the mother, because lots of times if the baby's not developing right, that means something bad could happen to whoever is carrying the baby.
Yeah.
So anyway, thankfully a judge has blocked the ability for doctors to at least send people outside of the state. But again, people don't have the money to travel outside of this. Like, this is really just causing so much harm,
Well, that, and then you
so
you
many
add into
deaths.
the emotional trauma of the mother that has to go through situations like that. It's just, complications on top of complications. It's just there's
Right.
no there's no good way for this to end. I mean, the bad thing is if she was in a state that allowed it and she was able to get the abortion she needed, it's traumatic that way. But then add to
Right.
it that she has to deliver this baby and watch it die hours after it's delivered. That's even
Yeah.
worse.
It just breaks my heart that people have to go through this. They have to make these decisions. And that doctors are even in fear of losing their license or getting prosecuted. Like, how was that gonna, I mean, doctors are fleeing I don't know if I did a story on that yet. Maybe I'll try to next week. But there are doctors just fleeing certain states because, like obstetricians, because they know what's going to happen, and they can't do that to their patients, and they can't do that to their conscience, and they don't want to lose their license. They can't lose their livelihood, so they're leaving these states. How unsafe are these states going to be when you start to have only doctors who really don't care?
Yeah. Now there was
Sorry, my hands are tied.
there was a resource I saw one time on TikTok when this first started with the reversal of the Roe v. Wade, that there was these pilots that were gathering together that were trying to get funds together and everything to help transport people to other states that offered abortions, to help ones who couldn't afford to travel from state to state. I'd have to try to find that again, but I remember there was that going around. So, there is help out there, but again, it's still not always easy to get. They might not be available due to their resources, so there's just so many factors. And when they do this kind of stuff to people, it just puts so many people needlessly at risk when they don't need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is at least good news for Idaho. Still terrible, but
Yeah.
if y'all are in Idaho and you're watching, you need to get your butts out there and start building community and start fighting back.
And I'm sorry, if I was in that kind of a situation, I don't care what a judge says or not, I'm going to another state to do what I got to do.
Oh yeah.
If I could do
Right.
it. So
Right.
what are you going to do? Stop me? No, it's not like you're monitoring the borders looking for pregnant women going across the border.
Right.
Wait, I better
And
not say that
I'm
out
pretty
loud. They might start
sure.
doing that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I did a um I did a story about, shoot, I can't remember now. I'd have to look. Never mind. Move on.
Okay. So I am going to move on. So
Yeah, because we have so much more to cover. So
yeah,
it's
I've
just
got,
we could go
so,
on and on about that. It's an important topic, but
so a couple months ago, we talked about how Norway, um, declassified the Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion. They took away their tax exemption. They're no longer considered a religion. And there was talk about, and we talked about this on the show too, where it wasn't set yet, where at the time we still thought they could perform marriage ceremonies. Now, however, things have changed. So Norway says that the witnesses will not get a temporary license to perform marriages. They lost this right last year, and two courts already refused their appeal. So, not even under any classification can the Jehovah's Witness organization in Norway perform weddings legally.
oops.
Now,
Can you
that's
can you bring that bigger? Sorry.
oh, sure, sorry. But that's also not to say they could still, is that good?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
They could still um, do their ceremony if they want, I'm
Right.
sure. But as far as the legal part of, where they sign the wedding certificate, the marriage license,
Right.
that part probably will have to be done down at the courthouse.
Yeah. So I wonder this, like, how we all can get our own, like, I think even online, you can get the ability to perform marriages. What is it called? I can't even think of
Um,
the word.
oh,
Yeah.
well,
Anyway,
I'm trying to think
but
because my wife and I did that.
yes, same with me and my husband. We just
Oh,
had a, well, in Pennsylvania, it's a, oh gosh, I can't even think what it's called, but you're allowed to just marry yourselves. Quaker state. It's a Quaker state. So you're allowed to just marry yourself. So you don't need a officiator. A fish.
public notary.
Well,
That's
a
what we went to.
notary.
We went to a notary
Okay.
that did weddings. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, you can officiate you probably sign up online. So I wonder if over there they have that same ability, but it won't be attached to the Jehovah's Witnesses. It'll just be brother so and so who got
Right.
his
Right.
free license, like, but it's not attached to brothers
But
because it's
still,
not a religion.
it makes it just that much harder for them to be able to do things.
Aw.
And that's the whole point.
I
So
bet you the organization isn't gonna pay for people to be able to officiate. You think they'll cover that the the cost of that for people to register or whatever? Doubt it.
no, the organization will not cover that cost. Gene, I don't know. I've got to look it up again because we have been trying to follow that as well. I'll try to
Oh, right, yeah.
look that up and bring up some updates next week if there are any.
Yeah, I think you did that, like, 2 weeks ago, maybe? We were talking about Japan, but I have so much in this noggin, I can't
So,
remember.
anyways, let's move on. Did you have anything else? Another one you wanted to?
No, I had a link for, like, the maternal mortality rates, but we can talk about that next week. I'm sure there's gonna be more news from another state going haywire.
Okay, well, I have one last story that I'd like to bring out for today, then, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. Officiant. Is that what I said?
Didn't you say aficionado? I think that's what you said.
Ah,
That's the one right there.
Jesus. Jesus,
So,
take the spliff.
one of the crazy things I found out not too long ago was that there are actual insurance companies out there that will pay out for lawsuits for child sexual abuse when churches get, caught up in all that. There are
Right.
insurance companies that pay settlements for these churches. I mean,
Yep.
that is, to me, that how fucked up is that?
Oh, it's
Like, that is just so
it's
disgusting.
deplorable. It's deplorable that they have insurance for that, yet people want to point the finger at other marginalized groups as being the offenders and being the ones that are P3DOs, pedophiles, right?
But
Nope.
in some good news, though, out of Salt Lake City here, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is more than a mouthful, so I'll just say Mormons or morons, whichever's easier. They filed where they had a lawsuit and they filed their claim with the insurance company, and the insurance company denied their claim. And now the church is
Oh,
actually trying to appeal it and go after the insurance company for denying their claim.
wow.
So, I
I
mean,
love it. I
it
love to see
uh,
it. I'd love to
yeah,
see these organizations duke it out. Go ahead, spend your money. Go ahead. The
yeah,
lawyers are loving it.
I'd love to see how this all pans out too. I hope the insurance company says, "Nope, we ain't paying you a dime. Suck it up, Buttercup, and pay out." I mean, we already
Man,
know
I
from a
love it.
story that you reported on a couple weeks ago that the Mormons have over $100 billion. So,
Oh, they're like one of the richest organization like churches. Yeah, they're smart. They've been smart with their money and investments. I think part of it is their encouragement for kids to be educated, surprisingly. I think that's really helped them. But somehow they've maintained the indoctrination, I guess because they have their own school and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, they've really parlayed that.
yeah. So, you know, so another, good story there for everybody. So,
Yeah.
hope hopefully we'll see the end result of that being they still get denied and have to pay up.
I just think it's wild that that's insurance, that you can have that kind of insurance. That
And
gives me no kind of integral, like, how is that an organization with integrity that
well,
needs to have that kind of insurance?
to me, it's
Of
like the burglar that sues the homeowner for injuring himself while he's robbing their house.
right? Like, come
It's the same
on.
difference.
Same
So,
corporate says this is the same picture.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So,
okay, I
anyways,
do have one thing. I do have one
okay.
thing. I'm gonna so as you all know, we have Apostate Coalition. Some of you are watching this stream from Apostate Coalition, and some of you are on Apostate Weekly. But we, for a while, been trying to work on projects together. And Jonathan and I decided just recently to try to start to get something back up, and hoping that other people will want to join us. So we started doing some JW governing body cartoon stuff, and this is so this is my interpretation of a garbage pail kid, but this is Let, and then we're going to come up with a whole story for him, and make it like a garbage pail card, and then we're going to do all of the governing body as a series. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff that we want to work on. Other projects like having round tables and discussions, or just other content education, and we're looking for people who want to do some collaborations with us. So especially if you know how to do any kind of animation or AI art, which is what this is, obviously, because I am not an artist, anything like that, or even if you just have really good ideas that you think would be able to, I don't know, join in the fun.
Any
And let us
contributions would be
know.
great.
Yeah,
Whether you can edit, do
absolutely.
art, do
Right.
music, because there's so
Right.
many. There's more than just being behind the camera and talking for these things. There's all the background stuff as well. So
Yeah.
if you are one of those people that can do the background stuff, great. If you want to be on the camera, great. We got a place for you. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're interested, join this Discord. I guess I could share the Discord link, couldn't I? And maybe we could make a channel in there, I'm thinking, of sorts. And that's where we could, like in a certain room, maybe that's where we could do our collaborations. I have no idea. Whatever
yeah,
anybody thinks would work.
we could probably make a separate collaboration room on the Discord. So that probably wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really need to get wrapping up because I got some business to go take care of on the side here. So,
Yeah.
you good, Ryan? Anything else you needed to get out
No,
there?
we want to get like a Twitter started. So like all these kind of things that we could use anybody's help on, just creative wise. So if you're good with Twitter, whatever you want to do our tweeting for us, I can do
It's
like the
not Twitter no
images.
more.
Da,
It's
da, da, da.
X.
Oh, it'll always be Twitter. I'm gonna dead name him just like he dead names people. Yes. Oh, I'm
So,
gonna enjoy that. Anyway, that's
anyways,
that. We
yep,
love you. Thank you so much for
yep.
joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We truly appreciate it. Helps boost the channel. Yes, so share it to your Twitter if you don't mind.
Or
And we'll
Facebook
see you
or
next week.
wherever. And
Yeah,
remember,
wherever.
apostate your way,
I'll say
everybody.
your
Have a
way.
great week.
Listen to Baby Blast. Bye.
Bye.